How to fill an empty sales pipeline in 30 days. I get asked this question a lot, not just in 30 days, but how do you fill an empty sales pipeline? I'm going to share with you 10 techniques, 10 steps that you need to go through in this order, in this exact order. And I guarantee it, you will have a full pipeline after 30 days. Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to be closing sales. You might be, depending on what you sell, but I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And this is the number one reason why most salespeople are not successful. If you like it, I want you to hit subscribe because I put a new video out every week. And 2, go down to the description because there's an ebook I want you to download to help you. Number 1, I want you to identify specifically who your target prospect is. Now, what do you mean by this? Well, I want you to look at your current customers. I want you to look at and look at them, not physically who they are and what type of business they're in, et cetera, but I want you to know, why did they buy from you? Why did they buy from you? What I want you to do is I want you to identify what makes up the perfect customer as to why they buy from you. See, it's the outcomes. And I want you to have this profile. See, what happens too many times is when people have an empty pipeline, they chase anybody and everybody. And all they wind up is really punching the air. They wind up with a lot of fake prospects. All they wind up with is a lot of names, and they get very frustrated. See, but I got to know who I'm going after. That's number 1. And I got to keep my focus on the focus, which the focus is my best potential prospects. Number 2, I want you to know exactly how you help your customers. Now, what does this do? This is going to help you understand your messaging. Here's the whole thing. It's important to get your messaging right. You know you can help customers, but you have to and you have to take a step back and go, hey, how do I message this with my customers? For instance, I tell people, I help you find and retain better prospects. You see, that's very clear. It's very concise. And the way I do this is I'll ask people, are you ever challenged with not having enough prospects? Well, yeah, I am. Are you challenged with having to discount your price to close deals? Well, yeah. You see, my messaging is very clear, and you got to get very clear on this, okay? That's step number 2. Number 3 is I want you to go through all of your customer records, and I want you to identify all of your old customers and customers, well, who never bought from you. And I'm not asking you to build out this big list. No, I'm not saying you're going to go after it. No, but there are probably some in there that match the profile of who your perfect customer is. Not everyone is, but some of them are. And I want you to begin to identify who those people are. Okay, so that's step number 3. Number 4, as you review this list, and this is the main reason I want you to review this list, ask yourself, did I make it as easy as possible for them to buy from me? You see, what happens many times is that we overcomplicate things. We literally overcomplicate things. And as a result, the customer doesn't buy from us. You see, your whole objective is when your sales pipeline's empty, you want to make it as easy and as simple for your customers to buy from you. Now, what does this also mean? This also means don't go chasing after big game and the whales, because you know what? You're going to starve to death. You're going to starve to death. I see more salespeople, what they do is to get started, they're going to go chase this big elephant, and they never find a way to bag it. And as a result, they starve to death. I want you to be able to land customers that you can land quickly. And then you begin to work your way up the food chain to bigger and bigger deals. But what happens is you don't know this until you've gone through this process of looking at your old customers and ask yourself, how can I make it simpler for them? Now, I want you to go through and I want you to look at all of your existing customers. And I want you to now look at them and build out physically who they are. What makes them special? Because what I want you to do is I want you to begin saying, who are other prospects similar to them? You know, you may have 10 customers at your service. Okay, who are other customers that are similar to them? You see, my whole objective in filling the pipeline is not to have this massive list. I want to have a good list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Google and I'm going to use various things. And I even have what I call the Intel search engine. It's in the High Profit Sales Coaching Program that you could get access to. Go to my website for that. But the whole idea there is that how do we make it to where I'm going after people who are most like the current people I have, right? Doesn't that make sense? Number 6, I want you to blow up your calendar. Okay, here's where I'm getting very serious with you, because steps 1 through 5 is about figuring out who you want to go after. Now, 6 through 10 is really crafted around What is it you need to be doing? See, too many times what happens is salespeople don't prospect because they're so caught up doing everything else. You see, you got to blow up your calendar, and you have to get very serious about your prospecting time. Very, very serious. You see, here's the whole thing. If you have the ability to help people, then it's your responsibility to get in touch with them. Don't allow yourself getting caught up in other things. So this means you've got to have dedicated time to do it. Now, 6 leads right into 7, which is prepare your mind to make it happen. You see, what's very interesting is your mind is not there to prospect. And this again comes back to what I just said. If you have the ability to help someone, you have to believe 100% in how you can help somebody. Because if you don't believe 100% how you can help somebody, you won't pick up the phone. You won't make the call. You won't do it. You'll create all kinds of excuses. You see, here's the whole thing. If you have the ability to help somebody, it's your responsibility to get in touch with them. Second, when you fail to prospect, you know what you're doing? You're letting yourself down. You are letting yourself down, and you're never going to achieve the success that you know you're capable of having. Now, number 8, build your prospecting cadence. Now, when I mean build your prospecting cadence, what do I mean here? You may have in the past said, well, I do kind of 5 calls or 7 calls, whatever. No, whatever you think is the right number, you're going to need to double or triple it. Double or triple it. You may need to be reaching out to somebody 15 to 20 times before they respond to you. Now, here's the whole key thing. If you've gone through the previous steps, you're going to have messaging put in place. What are your talking points? What are your key things? Now, this whole thing, when you build out your cadence, it is not about repeating the same thing. Hey, did you see my email? No. Every time I'm bringing new message, new insight, new information to my prospect. This is why steps 1 through 5 are so critical. Okay? Because I got to understand why they bought from me. What are the outcomes? Now, when I build out my cadence, I'm also not building out my cadence around, well, I'm just going to send them emails. I'm just going to send them emails. No. You don't build your cadence around what's easy for you. You build your cadence around what's going to work for the customer. And I always say, start with the telephone. The telephone is a very effective tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the telephone. I'm going to backfill it with email. I might backfill it with text message. I might backfill it with postal service mail. I might backfill it with social media. Now, again, every industry is different. I don't have the ability to go through all this, but you create your cadence, and your cadence might be over a 45-day period, a 30-day period. I don't know what it might be. It might be a 60-day period. Again, it's going to vary based on what you sell, how frequently the customer buys, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to create your cadence. Number 9, you've got to start. You've actually got to do it. I see too many people, what they do is they sit there and they prepare to prospect, but they never actually do it. You have got to follow through. And what I mean follow through means you don't give up after the 3rd attempt, the 5th attempt, or the 10th attempt. You literally follow through and keep following through, keep following through. You have to keep following through, and you have to be deliberate. Now, number 10, as you work through your process, you're going to have to make it your objective to get the next step. Now, here's where a lot of salespeople fall down. They go, well, I want to try to close the deal on the first call. Don't try to close the deal on the first call. Your objective is to just get the meeting. I call this get the meeting. Now, every message I send, I've got to create a call to action. Okay, so every message I send, I got to create a call to action. But what I got to do is I got to sit there and say, my next step? My next step is just get the meeting with you, to keep the process moving forward. And as you have that conversation, what happens is they begin to gain confidence in you. Now, you may only need 1 meeting because what you sell is a very short sales cycle. You may need to have 3 or 4 meetings because you have a longer sales cycle. Again, it's going to vary. But your whole objective with your prospecting is to simply get the call. Now, you go through these 10 steps. I went through them pretty fast. Go out to my website, tons of additional stuff out there, tons of additional videos on my YouTube channel. Watch them, but it's going to help you. But filling your pipeline in 30 days does not have to be some astronomical, impossible thing to do. You can do it. I've helped hundreds and thousands of salespeople do it and help them be incredibly successful, because what you prospect today is who you're going to close, or I should say, who you're going to prospect this month is who you're going to close next month. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Grab the ebook, jump down below to the description, grab the book, High Profit Prospecting. Check out the website. It's all there for you. Great selling.